Good morning and welcome to CSL Greater Baltimore. Here are our announcements for October 29th, 2023. Visit cslgreaterbaltimore.org to learn about educational opportunities that are available. This includes our Thursday night study group, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. For other educational opportunities online, you can also visit csl.org/spiritual development. Join us Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time for The Artist's Way, a 13-week study group where we use Julia Cameron's best-selling novel to help unleash your creativity. Join us in the community Zoom room. Building community one conversation at a time. Join us 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time every second and fourth Wednesday of the month in our community Zoom room. Quote of the week. In order to understand the dance, one must be still. And in order to truly understand stillness, one must dance. Rumi. On sale now. New design, same low price. The 2024 Spiritual Journal, A Grand Rising. Order yours today at shop.csl.org. Enjoy stunning images from the grounds of Camp Cedar Ridge all year long while supporting a good cause. Discover the Good 2024 wall calendars are available. To order yours, go to campcedarridgeor.org/calendar. The Centers for Spiritual Living Heart of Peace initiative offers peace meditations for your use at any time. To access, use this QR code on the screen. And join us every Monday at 1 p.m. Mountain, 3 p.m. Eastern Time on CSL's Facebook page, facebook.com/Centers for Spiritual Living. Serve in CSL leadership. Candidate submission date has been extended to Tuesday, October 31st. Sacred text reminds us that you're the light in the world, and here's an opportunity to be a volunteer leader with CSL. There are 2 positions on the Member Council and the Practitioner Council, and there are 3 positions on the Leadership Council. For more information, follow the link csl.tfaforms.net/218. The CSL Awards Committee is now accepting applications through November 1st for categories for Minister, Practitioner, Lay Member, Youth Champion, Arts, and more. For more information, go to csl.tfaforms.net/203. Join the CSL Speaker Series event on Wednesday, December 6th, featuring Dr. Sean Ginwright, the author of The 4 Pivots, the book that CSL community-wide will be studying at the beginning of 2024. For more information, go to shop.csl.org. Trip the Light Fantastic. Celebrate New Year's at Camp Cedar Ridge. Reflect, rest, and welcome the new year with frolicking, friendship, and food. For more information, go to campcedarridgeor.org/NY2024. The book study opened for the entire CSL field in January 2024 features The 4 Pivots by Dr. Sean Ginwright. Save your Tuesday evenings beginning January 2nd at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. And watch for more details to come in your email. Save the date. Centers for Spiritual Living's 2024 Spiritual Living Convention being held in Wild Dunes Resort in Charleston, South Carolina from February 19th through the 22nd, featuring Dr. Sean Ginwright. Registration opens November 1st, so watch out for more communication from CSL Home Office. There are many opportunities to volunteer, connect, and engage with CSL Greater Baltimore. So if you're interested in joining us and helping us build this beautiful community, reach out to any of the board members and they'll provide you all the information you need to make your connection to CSL Greater Baltimore that much stronger. Thank you. Looking for ways to connect, volunteer. Good morning, CSL Greater Baltimore. My name is Dana Cole, and I'm your practitioner for the day. Thank you so much for joining us. So, a couple of weeks ago, the global talk was titled Getting Comfortable with Discomfort. And so that inspires today's meditation. And I invite you to embrace the concept of getting comfortable with discomfort. It's aligned with this month's theme of playing with the paradox. So, this practice entails physically getting uncomfortable. There may be many ways to implement a portion of the practice, but consider sitting with your legs crossed in a lotus position. If that's uncomfortable, sit stretched to a point where you experience slight discomfort. The idea is just to be aware of the discomfort and not to hurt yourself. So sit cross-legged if you can in lotus position. And if that's too uncomfortable, just sit to a point where you experience slight discomfort. The idea is just to be aware of this in your body and not to hurt yourself. So breathe deeply while calming your mind and come into the present moment and focus on your discomfort. Where do you feel it? Just breathe deeply. Where do you feel discomfort? I could share that I feel discomfort in my abdomen. I recently had surgery to feel it some in my shoulders with some tension. Is it painful or is it merely an ache? Can you focus your breath on that uncomfortable spot? Just breathe into that uncomfortable spot. Breathe into that discomfort. Visualize, if you can, a healing beam, light beaming in from above through your breath and to that area of discomfort. If you can't visualize it, just feel your breath moving into that area of discomfort. And focus this light on that experience. Focus this light on that discomfort. Just breathe into it. You need to move or shift. so that you're not in pain, but just on the edge, a little uncomfortable. That's it. Breathe into it. Visualize, if you can, that beam of light being drawn in with your breath and pointed directly to that area of discomfort. Feel it. Can you relax your muscles where that ache presents itself? Just breathe into it. Relax. And every time I say relax, just relax a little bit more. You can't just relax your shoulders into it. And breathe into that discomfort. Now, here's the part to separate your consciousness from that feeling, of discomfort, from that experience. Can you separate your consciousness from the aches in your body? So, like, the longer we hold these positions, the longer you hold your position, the more your muscles can relax into them and loosen. If you experience the opposite, the ache increases into a pain, then disengage from the lotus or your position and sit more comfortably. Now, assuming you continue the pose and your muscles relax, gently focus your attention on areas of your life that cause you discomfort. Focus your breath and the healing light on that situation or on that person. That is you, by the way. Focus your breath and the healing light on that situation. Affirm that the situation, that the experience is healing and peace from light and from your breath. Affirm that the situation experiences healing from the light and from your breath. Focus it onto that situation. And as we close, we express gratitude for our body. Our body is this vehicle through which we experience all the allness that is all. So express gratitude for your body and all the unique ways it supports you throughout your life. I'm so grateful for this physical frame, for it is the portal to all that I experience in the world. Peace and blessings to you. Now, if you've not released from the position, just release and relax fully. Namaste.
is me, and I am God. I am God, and God is me. I find myself whenever I remember I have no fear. Whenever I remember God is me, and I am God. I am God, and God is me. There's only love. Whenever I remember, I find such peace. Whenever I remember, God is me, and I am God. I am God, and God is me. There's only one. Whenever I remember, and one is God. Whenever I remember, and love is me. Whenever I remember God. Whenever I remember God. Whenever I remember God, whenever I remember God.
Good morning. Welcome to the Center of Spiritual Living, Greater Baltimore's virtual service. Thank you for joining us from wherever and whenever you are watching this production. I am your host, Robin Farrenhold. Our speaker today is the esteemed Eugene Holden. Our musician is Tony Hamilton. Tony comes to us from New Jersey. She is an accomplished vocalist and songwriter. She's a member of the Center for Spiritual Living. I started to say Greater Baltimore, New Jersey. She sings in many New Thought communities, and we are very grateful for her to share her talents with us this morning. Serving as today's practitioner and producer is the multi-talented and brilliant Dana Cole. Thank you all for your service. Thanks for making this a reality for our community and for anyone who watches this presentation. Every Sunday at the Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Baltimore, is an Invite a Friend or Family Member Sunday. Make sure you spread the love and spread the news and invite someone to service. We would love to have them hang out with us. And now, although in that picture it says Sue Monahan, our opening prayer will be provided by Dana Cole. Thank you, Dana.
Oh, I tried to remember how to do that correctly. Oh my goodness. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Baltimore. As Robin said, I am Dana Cole, your practitioner for today. Welcome. And I am very grateful to bring us this invocation. For I know that we are all one. We are all one with this wonderful presence, this power, this spirit, this divine intelligence, this one mind. It is all that there is, and we are part of all that there is. And so I bless today's proceedings. I bless all that are contributing to making this a most wonderful Sunday celebration service. For Robin Fahrenholt, our esteemed hostess with the mostest, and our musician, Tony Hamilton, who is blessing us with music, with song and verse today. And we also doubly bless Eugene Holden, who is providing our talk for today. All is unfolding as it should. All is well. All is wonderful. We thank God for all that there is, and so it is.
Please visit our website, www.cslgreaterbaltimore.org/events, for updates on our events and opportunities to connect. We have a class starting. We're going to have some community activities, so please stay up to date on what's happening at the center. Prayer works. Prayer works. And as a community, we continue to treat and move our feet, knowing the truth for everyone around this planet. Prayer requests can be sent via email anytime to info@cslgreaterbaltimore.org, and one of our esteemed practitioners will respond and provide prayer. And now, Tony Hamilton graces us with her beautiful voice and music again.
Guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race. Please guide my feet guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race, 'cause I don't want to run this race in vain. Hold my hand while I run this race. Oh, hold my hand while I run this race. Hold my hand while I run this race, 'cause I don't want to run this race in vain. Stand by me while I run this race. Oh, won't you stand by me while I run this race? Stand by me while I run this race, 'cause I don't want to run this race in vain. Pray for me while I run this race. Pray for me while I run this race. Please pray for me while I run this race, 'cause I don't want to run this race in vain.
Thank you, Tony. I love gospel music, and that's just totally inspiring to me. Thank you so much. At this time, the wonderful Dana, there's her real picture, will lead us in an in-service spiritual practice.
Thank you, Robin. And yes, I did get it right that time.
Hey.
So good morning again. And our spiritual practice for this week is effortless mindfulness. Effortless mindfulness is a set of meditation techniques that, in a sense, short circuit our rational thinking brain. And while that part of our mind has very many useful uses, helpful, they can often get in the way of us having a direct experience of connection, of oneness to the world around us. This is because in Buddhism, right, thought is known not to be the source of identity of who we are intrinsically as spiritual beings. Buddhists wisely treats thought as one of our senses, because thought is just another way that we make sense of the world around us, like our sight or hearing or touch. So the more we can help our thoughts take a rest, the more we can allow our natural, compassionate, wise self to come forth. And so effortless mindfulness shares a term called awake awareness to describe this self, capital S self. This is awareness that is aware of itself. What's interesting about this concept is that awake awareness is not dependent upon thought. It precedes thought. We often use the term grounded of being to describe this state of being aware without thoughts intruding and trying and doing sense making. So here's one method you can use to get a glimpse of this awake awareness. And it's been adapted from Locke Kelly's teaching in his book called The Way of Effortless Mindfulness. Note that this practice can be as long or as short as you want it to be, and you can incorporate it throughout your day. And so I invite you right now to simply take a moment to notice everything around you. Notice what you see around you and notice what you hear. Notice the feel of air on your skin, any smells in your nose, any tastes in your mouth. Just notice. And notice if you're having any thoughts right now. Simply allow everything that you experience to show up without judgment. Now, without needing to know how, allow your awareness to rest on the spaces between all that you are experiencing. What is that like to let your awareness rest in the spaces between what you see? The spaces between each sound you experience. Do you notice how effortlessly your awareness can fill those spaces? Now allow your awareness to become aware of the silence between each of your thoughts. Do you notice how, even though you aren't thinking in those spaces, you still exist? And how you are still aware? What does this awareness feel like? Finally, resting in the awareness that has expanded to fill the spaces in between everything around you. Invite your awareness to become aware of itself. Notice how you are feeling as you embrace this boundless awareness that is at the ground of your being. Try this practice throughout your day. It can be done in as little as 30 seconds, or you can do it for hours. The key is to continue to take glimpse after glimpse of this awareness until it becomes your natural state. And once that happens, we are living our lives from our wise inner self, capital S self, rather than from our thinking ego. And that brings us one step closer to a direct experience and expression of oneness. Namaste.
Well, that's going to give me something to think about this week, the awareness of my awareness. So to switch gears, Eugene Holden, and I described him as esteemed earlier in service, and I think that is a perfect description of Eugene. He has been so embedded in the Centers for Spiritual Living community for a very long time. He is a prolific writer in the Science of Mind magazine, and we are very, very grateful and blessed to have him as our speaker today. So please, Eugene, enlighten us once more.
Good morning. Thank you, Robin. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. And I am so happy to be here again with Centers for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore. Tony took me back to church, boy. Da, la, da. I'm telling you, right? And when I remember God is, when I remember that God is me and I am God. Tony, thank you so very much. Dana, thank you for the meditation, the pre-service meditation, and the invocation and the spiritual practice. Robin, thank you for being the hostess of the mostest. So let's just dive in here, right? So this year, the theme for Centers for Spiritual Living is living out loud. Living out loud. Man, I tell you. And so what that really means to me is to free myself from any and everything that would hinder me, that would hamper me, that would keep me from living out loud. Now, in my path of living out loud, what I've come to realize and to recognize and to embrace is that nothing or nobody outside of myself can prevent me from living out loud. Whatever I think is hindering me from living out loud, it's in my own awareness. So, Dana, again, to guide us into being aware of our awareness, right? Think about what you're thinking about. See, because nobody or nothing can keep us from living out loud. Now, I know that there may be some of you out there going, Eugene, you don't understand my situation. And you know what? You're right. I don't understand your situation, but I do understand this, that no matter what the situation is, we have the capability, we have the tools, we have this innate intelligence within us that can get us out whatever the situation is. Check this out, right? The consciousness that has us in that situation, which is within us, is the same consciousness that gets us out of the situation, which is within us. So living out loud is about becoming fully aware of who and what we are, divine beings of the one. We are representatives of the divine because the divine represents itself as us. Going back to the song, God is me and I am God. In the not only science of mind and spirit, but many traditions around the world for centuries have taught that same principle, that there is only one life. Now, you can call that life whatever you want to call it, right? We can call it God. We can call it Yahweh. We can call it Olodumare. We can call it Vudun. The thing is that we want to call it forth into our conscious awareness and then embody that which we have recognized so that we may now be vehicles and instruments to live out loud. I think a month or so ago, the theme for the month was love out loud. All right. So in order to live out loud, we got to love who we are. I want to love myself so much that I'm going to live out loud. And living out loud is really about bringing forth the gifts and the talents that we came here with. This month, we are playing with paradox. Playing with paradox. We are looking at playing with paradox in order for us to live out loud. Remember that as we continue to open up and looking at the paradoxes in our lives or in life itself, because life is one big paradox, when we start to really look at it and take off the attachments and take off the shackles of whatever we have put around the definitions of the words, and we'll get to that shortly. Once we start to do that, now we are freeing ourselves up to not only live out loud, but to love unencumbered. So just to recap, week 1 was about having a paradox mindset. What does that mean? That means being able to look at life going, oh, there's a paradox here. And so this may seem like it's not true, but it is, right? So we want to look at things in a way where in this seeming duality, no, forget the seeming, in this world of duality, we have right, we have left, we have up, we have down, we have all these different things that show up as duality. But remember that within the duality and the paradoxes of life are encompassed in the reality of the oneness. I love my martial arts. I've been a martial artist for a long, long time. Chinese martial arts, to be specific, and then Tai Chi to even get more direct in that, right? And so when we look at the Taoist sign, the yin yang, right? We have these two seeming opposite forces, which are necessary for the creation of life. We have to have the male aspect of life, conjoining with the female aspect of life, right? So that creation can happen. This is a paradox, but it's all within the one. So when we start to take on the mindset and going, okay, yeah, life is made up like this, and it all comes from the one. Remember, that's the key, that it all comes from the one. When I hear the line, there is only one life, that life is God. That to me is a paradox, because I can say, well, wait a minute, there's more than one life. There's my life, there's Dana's life, there's the life of the bird, there's the life of the fish. These have all of these different lives, but it is all sourced from the one power, the one presence, the one intelligence. Call it whatever you want to call it. Week 2, we were talking about getting comfortable with the discomfort. Oh my goodness. So when I first heard this, it was my youngest son. We were having a really in-depth conversation, right? And he said, Pops, you're having a hard time with this conversation. You need to learn to be comfortable with the discomfort. I wanted to hang up the phone, and as that verse says, right, out of the mouth of children, right? But he was so right, because as I became okay with being uncomfortable, our conversation expanded, and we got to communicate in such a beautiful and loving way. So and it's an ongoing thing. It's an ongoing practice, right? To get comfortable with discomfort. To be okay. We don't even have to be comfortable, right? To be okay with having a discomfortable conversation that needs to be had with a loved one. To be okay with how that may feel, the confrontation, right? Because confrontation is discomfort. So we want to start getting comfortable with the discomfort. Then week 3, we were talking about shaking up our worldview. Now, I love this one because it's calling us to have another look at it. Let's look at the situation, whatever that may be, from a different perspective. One of the questions that I like to ask myself is this: what else could that mean? For example, and I'm going to use my kids again, because of that whole thing with the divorce and all. It was a wonderful experience, made me the man who I am now. Early on in the divorce, the boys, especially the boys, were young. They were 5 and 7. My daughter was 17. But so I would go to, their mom's house and, to be with them, to pick them up or whatever, spend time. And this one particular time, I just went over, just to spend time with them. Then I walk up to them and they go, "Hey, Dad," and all of that. They give me a hug and they give me a kiss, right? And then they're gone, gone. Jump off the porch and they're running down the pathway. And I'm like, what about me, right? I came over to spend time with my boys. They must not like me. Until I had the presence of mind to ask, what else could this mean? What else could this mean? Let me change my worldview about this. Oh, what this really is about is they're 5 and 7-year-old boys. It's Saturday morning. They're going to play with their friends. It has nothing to do with me, right? So I had to change my worldview, right? Which also causes us and calls us to stay in the mystery of the question instead of being attached to what we think the answer is. Oh, I know the answer. The answer is that they don't want to be around me. No, ask the question. What else could this mean? Oh, the answer is they want to go play with their friends, right? Last week, we were talking about the tyranny of the or. See, remember, we are playing with paradox, right? So with the tyranny of the or, we were talking about, this or that. And I want to talk more about that as I introduce what we're talking about today, right? Today, we'll be speaking about the genius of the and. The genius of the and. Beautiful, right? But before we do that, I want to go back to the tyranny of the or. So the English language is an interesting thing. The English language in itself is interesting, but the English language is something else, right? Because we put meanings to words and what they mean, and then what happens sometimes, and not with all of us, but some of us get attached to the meaning that it means this one thing. For example, have you ever had anybody that you were speaking to, and you say to them, "I gotta go do this. I got to do this," right? And they go, "No, it's not got to, it's you get to do this," right? So this is this language policing, policing, what I'm saying. Somebody else is policing what I am saying. When I say, "I got to do this," they go, "No, you get to do this." Well, I understand what they're saying, but hang on for a moment, right? Maybe it's about my come from. Where am I coming from when I say I got to do this? For example, right? There is something that I really am looking forward to doing. Oh, I got to do this. Oh, you guys got to do this. This is an amazing experience to have, right? So it really depends on the vibration of where you're coming from. Now, I understand when they say, "No, it's not that you got to do this, you get to do this," meaning that, oh, it's a gift that I get to do this. I understand that. But let's take the handcuffs off of the phrases, right? Because when somebody says to me, "No, Eugene, it's not you got to do this, it's you get to do this." I'm like, well, wait a minute. No, I'm so excited about what I'm about to do that I don't want to do anything else. I got to do this. I want to do this, right? So, as we talk about languaging, and we come to last week's theme, the tyranny of the or. The tyranny of the or. So, the word or is a tyrant. Some of the meanings of tyranny. These are some examples of the words that mean the same as tyranny: oppression, dictatorship, domination, and bullying. Tyranny, right? These are just some examples of being tyrannical. So when we put that descriptor on the word or, oh man, talk about being stuck, being stuck. And so now I can only use a certain phrase because I am being dominated by this tyrannical word called or. The tyranny of or does not have to have those above descriptors. However, when we are stuck on that tyranny of or can push people to believe that things must be, they have to be either this way or that way. There's no middle ground. It's either this or that. And when we have the vibration of tyranny of or in there, then we get stuck. We get stuck. When we are not willing to become aware of our use of the word, or we can start to have let me rephrase that. When we are not willing to become aware of the use of the words that we use, we can start to have experiences that feel like we are oppressed. We can have experiences that make us feel that something is trying to dominate us because we're stuck on it's either this or that, right? Or we may start to feel that life has been a bully to us, or to know people who think that their lives are being, or that they are living a life of being bullied because of this, or that it has to be this or that. See, we did not know, we were not aware that there was another way to look at this. And we didn't have that, in that we didn't have to feel bad about choosing between this or that. So let's take the emotion of the word tyranny out of the equation altogether, right? Let's take the emotion of the tyrant out of the equation. In doing this, we allow ourselves to consciously use the word or as it is meant to be used, without any emotion whatsoever attached to it. For example, the definition of the word or is: used as a function word to indicate an alternative. It is used, the word or is used as a function word to indicate an alternative, right? So when we start to get clear on knowing that we are free to do either this or that, when we get clear on that, that allows me to have freedom that I may not have experienced before. Oh, but then when we connect it with the genius of the and, oh man, look out, look out. But we'll get there, but not right, not quite yet, not quite yet. Before we go there, let's talk a little more about the tyranny of the no, forget the tyranny. Let's talk a little more about the or. Taking away the emotion of the word tyranny, we are now free to make decisions that will eventually culminate us in having the life experiences that we choose. Let me give you an example. Our freedom depends on our choices. I want you to get that. Our freedom depends on our choices. Let me make it more personal. Your freedom depends on your choices. You can either keep looking at yourself as a victim. You can either keep looking yourself as a loser or a failure, or you can choose to affirm that life is better. Now, check this out, right? Or you can choose to affirm that life is better. I didn't say you can choose to affirm that life is good. Maybe I'm not quite there yet to claim and to affirm that life is good. But I can start by saying, life is better, right? So I can either choose to stay in that victimhood, or I can affirm that, life is better. See, the power in using the word or to choose between living a life of lack and limitation or choosing to live a life of abundance, beauty, and freedom, that choice is a gift. The power in using the word or to choose between living a life of victimhood or of freedom, the power in choosing that is a great gift. The word or is a verbal emotionless tool to indicate an alternative. The word or is a verbal, emotionless tool to indicate an alternative. See, I can either stay in this job that is sucking the life out of me, or I can follow the vision that is pulling at my heart for the longest time. I can either stay in this toxic relationship that is not working for me or the other person, or I can choose to walk away from it for my own well-being. See, so we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. We want to be conscious creators of change by being aware of how we use our words, by how we language things. Now, I'm not saying that we should police other people in the way that they speak. They're on their own path. What I'm saying is that we want to be aware of how we use words. See, because we get to put the meaning and the feeling tone behind the words that we use. See, this policing ourselves in our own language, this is for our own awareness and our own growth. Why is this? Because we are now becoming aware of the power of our word and the law that acts upon it. So when I speak about your come from, I am speaking about the feeling tone behind the words that are used. As I mentioned in the example above, right? I got to do this. Oh, I can't wait. I got to do this. You can feel the feeling tone, as opposed to, and this is where I understand when people go, no, you get to do this. But the feeling tone of, oh man, I got to go do this. See the feeling tone, right? It's all about the feeling tone, which brings me now to the genius of the and. Oh, see, as we practice being aware that we can consciously choose this or that without the emotion of the tyrant, oh man, now we get to expand our ability to create, especially when we add the genius of the and. Let me give you an example. Remember in the example I used, I can either stay in this job that is sucking the life out of me, or I can follow the vision that has been pulling my heart, first off, we have given ourselves a choice. I can either stay here or I can move on. Now, when we finally get to the point where we know that something has to change, once we start to follow that vision, now we get to use the genius of the and. We give ourselves permission to have this and that. See, this is the genius of the and, right? Because with the or, it's this or that. How about now we get to go to, I can have this and that. Let me close with this, right? In Science of Mind and Spirit, and in other New Thought, Ageless Wisdom teachings, we hear the phrase this or something better. Why not use them both? Why not use or and, right? This or something better along with this and something better. This is so good that there's more. See, because when we start saying this and something better, even with this or something better, we have now taken off the shackles of our minds to be in the mystery of the question, right? I don't have all the answers. Man, let me ask the right questions for myself. Then I can be open and receptive to have this or something better along with this and something better. What I have received is so good, I am open to this and something better. So what this is all about, my brothers and sisters, is to open up, to allow ourselves to open up, to be the vehicles, the instruments, the divine channel through which the unlimited mind of spirit can work. Remember, we are representatives of the divine because the divine represented and represents itself as us. This week, practice the genius of the and. And so it is.
Thank you, Brother Eugene. My to-do list, I always have a list. My to-do list just got to be my grateful to get to do this list. So thank you for that inspiration. And now Tony is going to bless us with another musical selection. Thank you, Tony, in advance.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. There was a time when peace was on the earth, and joy and happiness did reign, and each man knew his worth. In my heart, how I yearn for that spirit's return, and I cry as time flies. There is a place where love will always shine, and rainbows are the shadows of a love that's so divine. And the glow of that love will light the sky up above. and it's real. Can't you see? Come with me. The Creator has a master plan. Peace and happiness for every man. The Creator has a master plan. Peace and happiness for every man. The Creator has a working plan. Peace and happiness for every man. The Creator has a working plan. Peace and happiness for every man. The Creator makes but one demand. Peace and happiness through all the land. The Creator makes but one demand. Peace and happiness through all the land. The Creator has a master plan. Happiness for every man. The Creator has a master plan. Peace and happiness for every man. The Creator makes but one demand. Peace and happiness for every man. Peace, happiness, peace, happiness, peace, happiness, peace throughout the land. The Creator has a master plan. Peace and happiness for every man.
Yes, the Creator does have a master plan, and we are all important players and parts of that plan. It's my privilege now to share with you our sacred covenant for the Center for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore. I would ask that you read along with this because this is what we know. The divine circle of love is complete. It comprehends all, includes all, and binds all together with everlasting unity. We are forever held in love's presence and care. Divine love is complete as me. And that is from the Science of Mind textbook, page 513. I am the divine love that I am. My intentions, our intentions as a community are to recognize, develop, and nourish self-awareness and spiritual growth, to cultivate wisdom through the study of science of mind principles and spiritual practices, to be an inclusive community that welcomes all, and to nurture and celebrate the joyous expression of the divine love that is each of us. This is our Center for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore community prayer. Again, I ask you, please read this along with me and make it a part of your thoughts for today. There is only one life. That life is good. This life is God. This life is my life now. And knowing that I am one with this life that is God, I therefore know that I am one with all its blessed expressions, which includes the Center of Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore community. I know that the highest purpose of the Center for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore is a revelation of God as divine love. As I now accept the highest expression of the Center of Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore into my life, I know it will be revealed in a way that will glorify God and serve the highest and greatest good for all who are touched by its presence. I am grateful. God is gracious. Amen. Ashe. And so it is. Let that sink in for a second. This is the time of service where we're reminded that practicing the law of circulation is one of the many ways we support our spiritual center and our own spiritual growth. It supports where we are spiritually fed while also supporting the business of running a center. And as we give, so we shall receive. So how do we tithe or offer or donate? There are many ways to give, and you can find them on our website. As you can see, you can use PayPal, Giveify, text messaging, postal mail. Go to the CSL Greater Baltimore website, click on the tab that says Give, and they will all be made available to you. So in this thought, let's join in our declaration of financial wealth and abundance. I joyfully, graciously, or consciously and gratefully participate in the law of circulation. I trust in the spiritual principle that says, as I sow into my beloved community, I demonstrate my awareness of standing not only in the flow, but as the flow itself. As I sow of myself, my time, my treasure, my talents, I demonstrate my support and engagement in my community's vision, mission, and purpose. I actively give as a demonstration of manifesting, of reaping the harvest of a world that works for all. And so it is. If you would like a practitioner on duty, which today is Dana, to pray with you, join us via Zoom and type prayer in the chat. And you will have a one-on-one prayer session with a practitioner. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Eugene. Thank you, Dana. Thank you for taking this message into the world. The paradox that we will always be wondering about at the end, the and ors. Paradoxes give you a lot to ponder. But I'm very grateful that you joined us. I'm grateful for the opportunity to have been your host. And I thank you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful week because you are awesome.
And so join me as we anchor this message in prayer. Take a nice deep breath. And as you exhale, relax the body. One more time. Inhale. And let it go. Symbolizing that we let go into this one power, this one presence, this one life that is at the very center of all of life. I speak this word from a place of gratitude, recognizing first and foremost that there is a divine intelligence from which all things are created. It is the nature of this intelligence to permeate and to penetrate and to feel the interspaces of the universe, which means that the space within the space, between the space, is filled with the vibrancy of pure spirit. The Creator has a master plan, and that master plan is you, me, and we. As we continue to recognize together that we are the ones that bring love because we are the ones that are love, as we continue to come together and recognize and to realize and to embody and to identify with the truth that we are the way that God shows up, as we do this collectively as a community, each and every person that comes to our conscious awareness, they are lifted up with that high vibration, to that high vibration of the upper room where we are now joining hand in hand to bring peace and happiness across the land. The only demand that is placed upon us is that we choose to love. And so, knowing that we are here as beings of love, here to teach love by being love, here to receive love, we lovingly allow ourselves to be the peace that surpasses understanding. For this and for so much more than these words can ever convey, I am so very grateful and thankful. It is from this space of gratitude that I now release my word into the awesome and the dynamic action of love and law. You see, this is what I know. that as this word is released, the law with unconditional love takes these words and molds them and shapes them, designs them and creates them, and then returns them unto us completely fulfilled. And so fulfilled, we simply allow it to be, and we walk in it as answered prayer. And so it is, and so it shall be. Amen. Ashe. Amen. Peace and blessings.